What's up, my beautiful friends? It's Christina, and I am so happy to be back with you today. We're going to be talking all about back to school. I have been getting so many questions lately for back to school recipes, wellness advice, and even health tips for those of you who are back in the office, in the workspace, and who might need some inspiration or advice to stay on track. So we're going to be focusing on all of that today, and I have some cool things ahead for you. I want to let you know that I have just added in some new back to school or even back to work recipes in my Fully Raw Vegan recipe app. Everything from breakfast recipes, some granolas, to protein bars that you can take with you on the go. So if you haven't already downloaded my app, click on the links in the description below. You can download my app on both iTunes and Google Play. And when you download it, you'll get access to more than 300 raw vegan recipes. There's videos in there, there's shopping lists, and there's even challenges for you to enjoy. All right, so I've made a list. You see my list back and forth of different things that I want to go over today. Now this will be a quick and relaxed video only because I feel that there's some really important points that I want to touch on when it comes to back to school. Now, this video is not going to be just about food. It's going to encompass all aspects of wellness and even some of the more complex factors that come when we're talking about school or work conditions, because we can all relate that it's not just about the food. Now, there are a lot of different factors that can be involved when you are in a setting that has time segments or places to be, or social settings around people who might not share the same beliefs as you. I think we've all struggled in social settings before, being the different person who wants to eat healthy but doesn't necessarily want to look like the sore thumb in the crowd. And that's okay. We're going to be addressing that as well. So let's start simple and work our way in, shall we? I'm going to start off with my number one tip to help you get through any school or work day. And that is pack your fruit and be prepared. Now, the reason why that is my number one tip is because fruit is fast food. It's easy to bring with you anywhere you go. You can bring a whole lunchbox filled with fruit. It can be watermelon, cantaloupe, grapes, strawberries, a fruit bowl with any kind of a sauce or cream on it that you want. Fruit is so easy to bring with you anywhere. Even if you don't want to chop it up, you can bring a bag of oranges and just peel them and eat them. Now, I know this is different than what most people would expect to see in a cafeteria or in a lunchroom. However, fruit is filling. It has a ton of vitamins in it, antioxidants, all these beautiful nutrients that your body needs, and it's satisfying. Not only is it satisfying, but it's also really hydrating. Fruit is a whole complete food, and it can also be a whole complete meal. It's so easy to bring with you that even if you don't want to spend hours looking for the right recipe or preparing something, it's fast and easy to grab and go with in the morning. And in most places that you go to nowadays, you can find a fruit bowl. You can find fruit to simply grab and eat. There is nothing more simple than taking an apple and biting it or peeling a banana. When people tell me that this lifestyle is too much work, too time laborious, intensive, all these other excuses, my usual response is, what could be easier and more time efficient than eating fruit? So if you're trying to simplify your life, my suggestion and my number one tip would be to pack your fruit. Make it a part of your daily routine. Don't be afraid of eating fruit. The sugars in fruit are not the problem. The sugars in all of these other processed foods are the problem. Fruit is a simple carbohydrate. It's not complex. It's easily broken down by your body. And if you're eating well, and if you're using up energy during the day, you're simply replacing your energy with these beautiful carbohydrates that are in fruit. So don't be afraid to eat fruit. Be afraid to eat all of the other processed unhealthy foods that are out there. Eat fruit instead. Save time, be more efficient, enjoy the sweeter things of life, and that's my number one tip. So now that I've done my spiel on fruit, my second tip will be to be prepared. prepared. Now, going into any kind of school or work day, the best advice that I can give you would be sit down the night before and write out a schedule for yourself. I know many people are electronic nowadays and you like to just have it all on your iCal or in your Google Calendar or whatever it is that you might use, but I have done this every single day for over a decade. The night before I go to sleep, I sit down with a pen to paper and I write out my to-do list for the next day. And then I prioritize it, and then I add time slots for all of it. And I'm realistic about this, because if you put 20 things on your list and you know you're not gonna finish it till Friday, that list is just gonna carry on, it's gonna stress you out. So write down a list of the things you know you can accomplish, your time slots, and the things that mean a lot to you only for that day. And this helps you to be more prepared. When I first went raw, I had a food schedule calendar for myself, and I wrote out, all right, for breakfast, I wanna have this. For lunch, I wanna have this. For dinner, I wanna have this. Once I wrote it down and I committed to it, what it did for me was put me in an action of moving forward. And from there, I began to think about, oh, well, I wanna eat that, but do I have it in my fridge? Oh, I need to go to the grocery store. So when I go to the grocery store, I need to buy this. And that put me into a moving flow of being able to put these things into action rather than waiting until the last minute or getting to a point where I wanted to eat this, but I didn't have the ingredients or I didn't have it with me. So I wasn't prepared, and then I fell back to plan B, which was not doing what I really wanted to do or something that my heart really wanted to do. Or it might result in you falling back to going to a fast food restaurant or some place that you didn't want to go to, but that you did as a second resort, which leads you to say, oh, I tried that, but it didn't work, so I'll start tomorrow. I think we're all tired of doing that. We have choices. We can do better. We can commit. We can prioritize and dedicate ourselves to the things that we truly want to achieve. Prepare to plan or plan to fail. Call me cliche, but being prepared is a huge, huge, huge tip. And you don't just have to be prepared with food. It can be with any goal or any aspect of your day. If you really want to talk about alignment, start incorporating it all together. And that's when you'll really start to see results, is when you allow your health and wellness to begin to intertwine with the other aspects of your life. That's when you're really gonna start to see improvements. That's when you're really gonna feel an uphill climb in your overall vitality, your joy, your inner peace, your freedom, everything. For those of you who are into journaling and goal writing, aligning, things like that, this will come a little bit easier to you. But for those of you who aren't, this is gonna be fun. It might be something that you've never tried before, and that's okay. And I hope that it does open up the doors for you to get into journaling a little bit more, not just about food, but also your emotional health as well. Trust me, this is a game changer. So along with being prepared, I invite you to pick 3 to 5 recipes that you really love, that you feel you could eat every single day for a week. Now, I've spoken to many people who get into a bit of anxiety about what to prepare, the stress of preparing, the stress of going to the grocery store, the stress of making all this work, because it seems like so much more work than just going to a fast food place and picking something up. And my advice is this: it's not bad to eat the same breakfast every day for a month, the same lunch every day for a month, same dinner every day for a month, or even for a week for that matter. If it means taking away the anxiety off of your shoulders, off of your chest, and getting you into the pattern of creating your own plan, your own meals, preparing, whatever it might be, to help you get in a rhythm. And if you don't want to do a month, try 1 week. Eat the same breakfast every day for a week. Eat the same lunch every day for a week. Eat the same dinner every day for a week. Maybe that means you picking 3 overall recipes and getting enough to make that one recipe for 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 7 dinners. If you're worried about being nutrient deficient, then I'll help you out here. I highly recommend a green juice every morning for breakfast, or a fruit bowl. You can choose a smoothie bowl. For lunch, pack fruit, a big variety of fruit, as many colors as you can. For a snack, pack some granola or a protein bar, one of those recipes that I have for you in my app. And for dinner every night, do some zoodles or a rainbow salad. Once you get in the flow of making those recipes every single day for a week or even a month, that helps to take away a bit of the sting, a bit of the anxiety, a bit of the pressure, because then you get into a flow and you begin to understand what you're doing a little bit more. And at that point, it doesn't just become a diet, but it becomes a lifestyle change and a habit and something that you can commit to for a longer period of time. So what I meant by point number 3 that I'm suggesting is to pick 3 to 5 recipes that you can commit to for a week or a month. Get in a really good habit of preparing those recipes over and over again in an abundance, getting the right ingredients at the grocery store, doing some trial runs, and don't worry about getting so overwhelmed with trying so many things. Just stick to those recipes. Ones that you enjoy, of course, and then when you feel more comfortable, you can begin to add new recipes into your rotation. Number 4, always have something on hand for yourself, like a fruit or even a dehydrated snack. Now, we've all been in the position where we're sitting in traffic and our blood sugar drops and we all of a sudden just become starving, right? If you're new at this lifestyle and you're not used to intermittent fasting, if you're not used to going long periods of time without food, bring some snacks with you wherever you go. Now, this is a part of being prepared, right? And it can be something as simple as some nuts, an apple in your bag, some dates even. Just always having something on hand that you can fall back on just in case you're put in a position where your time is compromised. It might just be that you're running in between classes and you forgot to eat lunch and you gotta eat dates out of your bag. It could be anything. My next tip is sleeping early. Now, this was a lesson that I had to learn and it did not come easy for me. I did not sleep at all during my college years. I barely slept through my high school years. I was always that nerd staying up late at night and doing my paper, wanting to perfect things, studying to get that A. And I really missed out on a lot of sleep. And that carried into me running a co-op for 11 years and not getting any sleep at all for about 11 years, 3 to 5 hours. But I didn't really care because I felt like I didn't need sleep at the time because I was so motivated and so passionate. But now that I've gotten out of that cycle and I sleep 8 hours a night, I'm seeing how important it is to get to sleep early, to plan out my time so I can wake up refreshed, so I can be even more efficient in my days. Now, for those of you who might have been in the mindset that I used to be in, I just want to say this. It is so important to get to sleep early, especially when you're in a time routine of having to get up for school at like 6, sometimes 5 a.m. and be there on time. You have to be awake for your classes to do well. It's easy to forget about sleeping, right? Make it a priority just as much as your recipes or anything else. So since we're talking about sleeping, let's talk about exercise and gym class. Now, putting down my list for that one because I have a little bit to say. I struggled in gym class. I was always that nerd who was the last one running around the field, always getting really attacked during dodgeball. I was on swim team and I was always usually the last person swimming in. I was definitely the sick kid, basically, always in my high school years. That's when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So by the time I was 16, I was just struggling. Gym class was a struggle for me. And I just want to say this, for those of you who might be the star of your gym class, great. That can be an extra exercise for you. But for those of you like me who really struggle with it, I invite you to open up to the possibility that even if you don't like one of the exercises that they're doing in gym class, you can still maybe find something else that you like to do on your own that might suit you, like yoga or going for walks after school or after work, something that just gets your body moving. The whole purpose of gym class was getting in movement. I don't think I realized that until after I was done with gym class and getting my credits, because I always just thought it was like a torturous class. I was like, this class was meant just to torture me. But they were trying to get us moving. So here's the thing. you don't have to fit into somebody else's ideal of what you think is a healthy type of movement for you. Whatever it may be, I invite you to just move your body and to breathe on a daily. When you move and when you breathe, it energizes you, and it's so good for your body to get an exercise, to even sweat at times. I love sweating. So whether or not you like gym class, find an exercise that works for you. And if you're in a workplace setting all of the time and you don't have time to work throughout the day, it's okay to get up a little bit earlier, get your workout in before you go to work, or on your way home from work, stop by and take a class somewhere, a HIIT training, a soul cycle, a cycling class, anything. Take something and fit it into your schedule. And I say on your way home, because usually when you get home, you're tired and you tell yourself you're gonna do it later. So on your way home, you know what I mean? Find a movement that you're passionate about, that works for your body, so that you can incorporate this into your daily, because movement and exercise are so important. Talking about exercise in gym class is actually a really nice segue for me to talk about bullying for a second. And for those of you who don't know my story, I was bullied a lot in school, and it pretty much traumatized me growing up to the point of where I'm a grown woman now, and I still have issues setting boundaries and standing up for myself. Now, I've done a lot of emotional healing, I've worked on it a lot, and I recognize in my past, I affirm that there's so much more I could have done differently for myself. And if I could tell my younger self something today, it would be proud of who you are no matter what. And that you being yourself is far more powerful than you trying to fit into any crowd or make somebody else happy, to try and make somebody else like you, get that perfect day. Just be yourself and be happy in your own skin. Really work towards self-love, feeling good physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you feel sad about something, find someone to share it with. You don't have to bury your head in the books or keep it to yourself. Like, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to trust somebody and talk to them. It's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to be the outsider. Sometimes being the outsider is the cool thing. I look back on it now and I'm like, I was always the really different, unique girl in class. And it's not a bad thing, actually. I actually think it's really beautiful to be different than everybody else. Being different is what makes us who we are. Now, when it comes to bullies, you have to realize that there's a lot of different factors there. There's jealousy, there's insecurity, there's manipulation, there's narcissism, there's all different kinds of things when it comes into somebody who bullies you. The best thing you can do is stand up for yourself with kindness and compassion and come from a place of love. Somebody comes at you and says something mean, it's usually because they feel that way about themselves. It's usually a reflection of them and a projection, and it might not even have something to do with you. So if somebody comes up to you and says, you're mean and ugly, it probably means because they are struggling with feeling ugly and maybe perhaps are really mean to themselves. Imagine if they're talking that way to you, imagine how mean their inner self-talk must be. Now, if we can get out of this mode of thinking that everything is about us, then you might be able to come into a place of compassion for that person and how much they're actually struggling. It takes nothing from us to show kindness to another person or to offer help. Even if somebody is different and we don't understand, or if we think that they're weird, why not start a conversation and be the kind person? Kindness always wins in the end. Trust me. Please trust me on this one. And if you struggle with being bullied, send me a private message, send me an email. I'm happy to be there for you. It was definitely one of my biggest challenges growing up. So I want to let you know that you're not alone. And the way to get past it is to show kindness to others and to yourself. And for those of you who are in the workforce or the workplace, I think we all know that bullies still exist in a grown-up world in just a different way, but they're very much present. And so the same rules apply here. I'm definitely going to be making a future video on bullies. This is just a tad bit of what I want to say. So yeah, just remember to be kind and compassionate with others as well as with yourself. My sister gave me a great tip that I'd like to add into this video as well, and it was to set out your clothes the night before. Now, I thought this one was kind of funny when she said it to me, but then I was like, wait a minute, that's actually a really great tip, because I always used to get really nervous about what to wear to school, and then sometimes I just wear the same thing every day because I couldn't figure it out. But it applies to both school and work sometimes. If you set out your clothes the night before, not only are you mentally more prepared and relaxed going into your day, but it saves you a good 20 minutes in the morning, maybe more, maybe less, when getting dressed. So I don't know if that tip helps you, but in the same time, when you're writing out your day, set out what you want to wear. That way, maybe you even have a little bit more time to sleep in the morning. Do some breath work or meditation before you start your day, or maybe even some yoga in the morning before you leave for work or school. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be 10 to 15 minutes. I personally like to get my workouts in the morning now. So nothing happens until I get my yoga in the morning. And I invite you to get into a schedule where you find out when your best workout time is for you, because then it can get you into a better rhythm as well. Now, I like being active in the morning because it gets my breath moving, I get sweating. I just get ready to go for the rest of the day. So if you can, get in a workout in the morning, do some breath work, some meditation, get yourself mentally prepared, ready to go for the rest of the day. Some other tips that I have written down here that I won't spend too long on are essential oils. Now, I love bringing doTERRA essential oils with me everywhere that I go, because in any case scenario that I'm stressed, it might be nice to rub some lavender on you, smell some lavender, bring some peace oil, something of any type of aromatherapy that might be helpful for you to have with you in a stressful situation. Something else that's fun that my sister recommended would be to call your classmates before you start school, or even some workmates before you start, or even just throughout the week to say hi outside of the school or workplace. This helps to establish a bond or a connection with them so that you're not always just hanging out at work or school. You have a connection with people that makes it feel a bit more comfortable and warm, heartwarming when you show up to this place every day. Visiting grandparents. This is one that me and my sister came up with. Visiting your grandparents during the weekend or even sometime during the week always makes it just brings joy to your week, And if you don't have grandparents, maybe go visit your parents, go visit friends. Do something in the middle of your week that feels like you're building a connection with someone, you're sharing your life with them. My sister and I say our grandparents because every time we go over there, they get so excited to hear about our day and they just hold this space for us. It's so unconditional and loving, and it just lightens up our week. We could be in the middle of the worst week ever, right? And we go on a Wednesday on a hump day and we see them and it just changes the energy of our week. So make time for your grandparents, your parents, people that mean a lot to you, that feel like family. It shifts the energy of your week, of your day. It just shifts the energy. Don't eat late. Now, I know a lot of us, we get back from school late, work late. We can get into a pattern of eating late if we don't carefully plan things out. But I wanted to say that getting into a habit of eating late during the week can hurt you in the long term, because it might cause you to go to sleep later, go to sleep full, not wake up hungry, get groggy in the morning, put on more weight. I would say stop eating a minimum of 3 hours before you're about to go to bed. Take your vitamins. For those of you who like supplementing with certain things, or if you know you need to, or if you haven't already, maybe look into getting your blood checked and figuring out which vitamins that you might need to take to help bring more vitality into your system. I wrote this as an important point. For my college students, get cases of bananas. And this doesn't have to apply only to college students, this can apply to everybody. I still get cases of bananas, but cases of bananas are the cheapest thing to get. It's like $20-something for 40 pounds of bananas that you can make smoothies with on a weekly, that you can freeze and use for nice cream. There's a good amount of calories in bananas for you as well, so that you can feel good and satisfied when you eat them. And for those of you who are looking for an inexpensive and efficient fruit to use on a daily, bananas are your new best friend. So when you go to your grocery store, ask them for cases of bananas. They'll give you a case discount. you can easily get organic bananas in the $20 range, depending on where you get them. But yeah, cases of bananas are a time saver, a money saver, and a game changer. Make time to study. So just like anything else in life, if you don't put towards the effort to be great at something, you probably can't just wing it off the bat. Now, there are some people I have seen who've been able to wing certain things off the bat, but if you really want to be good at something, if you really want to do well in school, if you want to achieve your health goals while being in school or in the workplace, make time to study, make time to learn, make time to prepare food. Create the time and space that you need to be successful at these things. Don't be afraid of them. Find a way to love these things. If you don't love them now, then figure out a part or a component that you do love about it and expand from there. And my last tip of this video would be to love yourself, to be compassionate with yourself and kind along the way. You're not gonna get this journey perfect in the very beginning. To the contrary, you're probably gonna mess up quite a bit in the beginning until you find out a flow for yourself. It might be really difficult for you to make some new recipes or to eat healthy during the week or to be the different kid out in school. But if you can be kind and compassionate with yourself and begin to share this gift with other people, despite of what others might think of you, I promise that's where the personal freedom is found, that's where it's held. It can be uncomfortable at times to be doing something different. But that's where the compassion comes in. If you can say, hey, I've tried this a million times and I still haven't found what works for me, that's okay, because maybe the 1,000,001th time I'll find it and it'll click and it'll change my life. And if you don't keep trying something, you'll never find a solution. So let's get into a solution-based mindset of how we can change things, how we can work towards something, a goal that we want to achieve a greater level of health and wellness. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. I hope that you can see that you're not alone and that there's so many different steps that you can take to live a healthier lifestyle and incorporate it into your day-to-day, no matter what your day looks like. There's little tips and tricks and tools that you can try all the time. And I hope that some of the things that I've suggested might work for you. Please give them a try. Comment below if you have some things that I haven't mentioned or that I haven't even thought about. Please just comment below. People will read and they might find something helpful that they can try as well. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button because there's only more to come. If you're looking for raw vegan recipes that you can try, please download my recipe app. It is in the link in the description below. It's available for iTunes and Google users. And don't forget, I've just added some fun back to school recipes in there for you as well. You can search everything in this app. It has everything. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. Sending you all my hugs and my love. Bye.